may not know, many of those films are inspired by real-life people and even events.
Inside Zak Bagans' Haunted Museum, you can learn the truth with his collection of real items.
The ghost-hunting king who built an empire investigating the dead is now facing ghosts of his own past. From explosive, cheating scandals involving 10 women to plagiarism accusations and industry power plays, Zak Bagans' paranormal empire is crumbling faster than a haunted house. The man who claims to speak with spirits might need to start answering to the living. Buckle up, because this investigation goes way deeper than any ghost hunt ever could. 7 women, 1 massive scandal. Let's dive straight into the juiciest drama first, because this one hit harder than any ghostly possession Zak Bagans has ever claimed to experience. In 2019, Zak began dating Holly Madison, the former Playboy model and reality TV star best known for The Girls Next Door. On paper, it looked like a Vegas-made match. 2 local celebrities, both fascinated by the supernatural, both drawn to dark energy. Holly even visited Zak's haunted museum, where sparks reportedly flew, hopefully not from a cursed artifact. For years, the relationship stayed unusually private. No couple selfies, no red carpets, no gushy Instagram captions, just secrecy, vibes, and the occasional museum appearance. Holly eventually moved in with Zak, and despite multiple breakups and reconciliations, the relationship dragged on and off, for nearly 6 years. From the outside, it seemed like Zak had finally found someone who understood his lifestyle, his fears, and his obsession with the unseen. Then came late 2024, and the energy shifted. Fans noticed Zak and Holly quietly unfollowed each other on social media, aka the modern-day relationship death certificate. By early 2025, Holly confirmed on her Girls Next Level podcast that the breakup was serious this time. No more paranormal reunions. No more second chances. This one was done. Then, in May 2025, Holly dropped a bombshell that shook the paranormal community harder than a demon growl caught on EVP. Taking to TikTok and Instagram, Holly revealed that during their 6-year relationship, Zak had allegedly cheated on her with multiple women. At first, the number was 3, then 4, then 5, and finally, drum roll please, the confirmed count reached 7 women, complete with what Holly described as receipts. Not 10 demons, not cursed dolls. Just 7 very real women, and possibly more. Holly explained that she already knew Zak was on dating apps, calling it a big part of the reason we broke up in the first place. What shocked her was discovering the full extent of the alleged cheating after the breakup. As she put it, the revelations kept piling up, like a paranormal investigation where every room somehow gets worse. One of the most talked about stories came from a TikToker using the handle at Phantomette, who claimed she connected with Zak in early 2023 after sending him an EVP recording from his haunted museum. According to her, Zak responded, sent voice messages, and the two briefly dated. She said she didn't know he was still involved with Holly, and when she raised concerns, Zak allegedly became irate, denied being in a relationship, and told her to mind my own business. She wasn't alone. Other women began sharing strikingly similar stories, being contacted by Zak, going on dates, and later realizing they were unknowingly part of a much bigger haunting. As the count climbed from 3 to 7, fans couldn't ignore the irony. Zak Bagans, a man who claims to sense energies, attachments, and spiritual disturbances, somehow didn't sense 7 overlapping romantic situations. Holly even shared a screenshot of Zak's alleged dating profile to warn other women, bluntly noting that men will lie about anything on dating apps. Groundbreaking research, still devastating. She emphasized that while the relationship had already ended, she was only just discovering how deep the situation went. The paranormal community, once fiercely loyal to Zak, began turning fast. Social media filled with criticism, jokes about his empath persona, and comments suggesting maybe the spirits weren't the ones lying all these years. Holly later confirmed again on Girls Next Level that the breakup was final. No more on-again, off-again cycles. No more haunted hope. But as explosive as this scandal was, it wasn't Zak's first major fallout. In fact, his most damaging feud started long before Holly, with someone who helped build the Ghost Adventures empire from day one. So what really happened between Zak and his original partner, and why does that story still haunt him today? The Nick Groff fallout. When ghost hunting partners become bitter, creative differences. Every empire has its breaking point, and for Ghost Adventures, that moment came in 2014 when Nick Groff, co-creator, producer, and original investigator, announced he was leaving the show after 10 seasons. Fans were stunned. The Zak-Nick-Aaron trio had become paranormal comfort TV, so Nick's sudden exit immediately raised eyebrows. At first, everything sounded calm and professional. Nick cited personal reasons and a desire to pursue new creative projects. Zak echoed similar sentiments, wishing him well. No public accusations, no messy fallout. Just the industry's favorite phrase, creative differences. On the surface, it looked like a clean, respectful split. But then time passed, and questions followed. Nick went on to launch new paranormal projects, including Paranormal Lockdown, Ghosts of Shepherdstown, and later Destination Fear. While these shows attracted loyal fans, many were short-lived, canceled, or reworked after only a few seasons. That's when online speculation kicked into high gear. Paranormal forums, YouTube breakdowns, and gossip channels began connecting dots, maybe a little too eagerly. The dominant fan theory, what began as a three-man collaboration on Ghost Adventures, gradually turned into what viewers jokingly dubbed the Zak Bagans show. More narration, more screen time, more Zak, while Nick's presence appeared to shrink. Nothing was ever officially confirmed, but longtime viewers noticed the shift. And in paranormal fandom, perception often counts as evidence. By 2023, speculation flared again when Nick shared reflective content about leaving a long-running project and the struggle of starting over. He never named Zak or accused anyone directly, but fans read between the haunted lines. Old rumors resurfaced, claims of behind-the-scenes tension, network influence, and subtle social media shade. None of it was verified, but it spread fast. Other investigators tied to shows like Ghosts of Shepherdstown and Destination Fear were pulled into fan theories about Zak's alleged industry influence. Some labeled him a gatekeeper. Others joked that crossing Zak Bagans was like being cursed, minus the EVP proof. To be fair, networks cancel shows all the time. Not every ghost hunt survives television politics. Still, the optics lingered. Zak Bagans emerged as the dominant force in paranormal TV, while Nick Groff became the symbol of a partnership that didn't survive fame. Whether it was ego, branding, or diverging visions, the split reshaped the Ghost Adventures legacy. So was it a quiet professional breakup blown out of proportion, or did the paranormal empire crack under its own weight? And more importantly, how did Zak Bagans become this powerful in the first place? Where did this ghost-hunting mogul actually come from? The humble beginnings, from DC kid to Vegas visionary. Born on April 5, 1977, in Washington, D.C., Zachary Alexander Bagans wasn't destined for paranormal superstardom from the start. Raised in Glen Ellen, Illinois by his mother Nancy Knapp, an interior designer, Zach grew up in a middle-class household alongside his older sister Meredith and two half-siblings, Sky and Phil, following his mother's remarriage after divorcing Zach's biological father. Unlike most kids who feared the dark, Zach was drawn to it. He became obsessed with horror films and later claimed to experience strange occurrences in his childhood home. But the moment that supposedly changed everything came during his college years, when Zach alleges he encountered the spirit of a struggling with mental health woman. Whether fact or folklore, that experience reportedly turned a skeptical film student into a full-blown paranormal believer overnight. After graduating from Glenbard West High School in 1995, Zach followed his passion for filmmaking at the Motion Picture Institute of Michigan. Degree in hand and ambition in full force, he moved to Las Vegas with dreams of becoming a documentary filmmaker. Reality, however, had other plans. To pay the bills, Zach worked as a wedding DJ, spinning love songs by day, while dreaming of capturing something far darker on camera. In 2004, fate stepped in at one of those weddings. While DJing in Las Vegas, Zach met Nick Groff, a fellow paranormal enthusiast with filmmaking experience, and Aaron Goodwin, a cameraman. Bonded by their shared obsession with the supernatural, the trio formed an unlikely but powerful partnership. Together, they created a raw, documentary-style film called Ghost Adventures. Armed with handheld cameras and fearless curiosity, they investigated notoriously haunted Nevada locations like the Goldfield Hotel and the Old Washoe Club. When the documentary premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2007, it drew an impressive 1.4 million viewers, proving audiences were hungry for ghost hunting that felt gritty, unscripted, and intense. The success caught the attention of the Travel Channel, which picked up Ghost Adventures as a full series in 2008. The formula was simple but addictive. Lock 3 investigators inside America's most haunted locations overnight. Cut the lights and see what happens. No safety nets, no nearby crew. Just fear, adrenaline, and whatever spirits showed up. With Zach as the dramatic lead investigator, known for provoking entities, demanding responses, and occasionally appearing possessed, the show became a cult hit. Over time, it evolved into a full-scale production featuring advanced equipment and countless specials. Appearing in over 330 episodes, Zak Bagans became the face of modern ghost hunting. But as Zach rose from struggling DJ to paranormal superstar, one question lingered. Was he just chasing ghosts, or building an empire that would become as controversial as it was profitable? Capitalizing on the dead. By 2017, Zak Bagans wasn't just a TV host anymore. He was a full-blown paranormal mogul. That year, he opened the Haunted Museum in downtown Las Vegas, a 33-room mansion packed with allegedly cursed and haunted objects he'd collected over time. From Bela Lugosi's mirror to Peggy the doll, Jack Kevorkian's infamous death van, and the so-called Dybbuk box, the museum quickly became a macabre tourist hotspot. USA Today even crowned it Best Haunted Destination in America for 5 consecutive years. But with success came scrutiny. Skeptics and investigative journalists began questioning the authenticity of several high-profile artifacts. One of the most controversial was the so-called satanic 6-string guitar, which Zach claimed was cursed after being allegedly linked to the death of a 13-year-old boy by electrocution. Creepy, until the seller later admitted he had no proof of the story and couldn't provide a single piece of evidence supporting the claim. Then, There's the Dybbuk box, long promoted as the world's most haunted object. Its origin story unraveled when horror screenwriter Kevin Manis revealed he fabricated the chilling eBay description after buying the box at a garage sale. Essentially creative writing that later inspired the 2012 film The Possession. In other words, the curse was fiction. The profits, however, were very real. Despite these revelations, visitors continued paying anywhere from $54 to $200 per ticket, turning the haunted museum into a lucrative attraction. Zak didn't stop there. He expanded his brand with books like Dark World, which hit the New York Times bestseller list, and Ghost Hunting for Dummies. He partnered with horror director Eli Roth on the Haunted Museum anthology series for Discovery Plus, dramatizing stories tied to his artifacts. In 2024, Zak launched Destinations of the Damned, which climbed to number 2 on Max. That same year, he announced Scarehouse Films, a new production company backed by a multi-million-dollar investment, planning multiple horror films in 2025. With an estimated net worth of $30 million, Zak Bagans had become the undisputed king of paranormal entertainment. Business was booming, but while Zak was profiting from haunted legends, was he also profiting from something else? Specifically, other people's work? Ghostwriting or just ghosting the real authors? While Zak was navigating relationship drama and industry feuds, another scandal struck at his credibility. This time, as an author. In January 2020, paranormal investigator Kenny Biddle published a damning review of Zak's book, Ghost Hunting for Dummies, in Skeptical Inquirer, highlighting extensive suspected plagiarism. The most striking claim? Nearly an entire chapter appeared lifted from Joe Nichols' Camera Clues, a handbook for photographic investigation, with over 20 additional pages seemingly copied from paranormal author Troy Taylor, none properly credited. The fallout was swift. On January 31st, Zak posted on Twitter, "Was great working with you at Troy Taylor 13 on Ghost Hunting for Dummies reference guide, and thanks for clarifying all this," alongside a statement from Taylor. Taylor claimed he had worked as an uncredited researcher, blaming the tight publishing deadline for failing to attribute sources, and insisted it was not in any way Zak's fault. He added that the publisher was already issuing corrected copies, but skeptics weren't convinced. Kenny Biddle noted inconsistencies. Taylor misrepresented his own words, misused legal jargon, and only came forward after the allegations surfaced, raising suspicion about the timing. If Taylor truly contributed legitimately, why wasn't he credited originally? And why was a substantial payment later made to him in a settlement? These actions only deepened doubts about the book's legitimacy. The Society for Psychical Research also flagged similarities between Zak's book and other writers' work. Biddle observed Zak's bias against skeptics and scientists, perhaps because those same critics were exposing his shortcuts. The scandal suggested that Zak's literary success, like his TV fame, might rely heavily on the uncredited labor of others, echoing critiques of his broader empire-building methods. This plagiarism controversy revealed something darker than ghosts. It hinted that Zak Bagans' climb to fame might not always have been as transparent or as original as it appeared. But wait, could there be even more controversies lurking in the shadows? Oh, you better believe it. Racism allegations, museum fakery, and power trips. As if cheating scandals and industry feuds weren't enough, Zak Bagans has faced a growing list of additional controversies, some well-documented, others firmly lodged in the rumor graveyard. Together, they've reshaped his image from fearless investigator to one of paranormal TV's most polarizing figures. One of the earliest incidents occurred in 2016, when Zak faced backlash for an on-air remark about fearing black ghosts, implying they were more violent. The comment sparked widespread outrage. Zak apologized, but critics argued the response was vague and failed to address why the joke was offensive. The moment stuck and is still cited today. In 2017, Zak stirred controversy again by claiming he was on a mission from God to investigate ghosts. While some fans saw theatrical flair, others accused him of religious fear-mongering and demon obsession. These concerns resurfaced in a Change.org petition, criticizing Ghost Adventures for promoting spiritual propaganda and alleged abuse of power, often referencing Zak's strained relationships with former collaborators. Then there's the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, equal parts tourist attraction and lightning rod. Skeptics questioned several artifacts, including the infamous Dybbuk box, whose backstory has fictional origins. With tickets ranging from $48 to over $200, critics argue Zak is monetizing fear by selling exaggerated or outright fabricated haunted legends. Former clients like Keith Linder also criticized Zak's entertainment-first approach, noting that his episode later disappeared from circulation, fueling speculation about behind-the-scenes control. Smaller, but telling, anecdotes paint a pattern of entitlement. Viral TikToks suggest Zak can be difficult to work with, including an unverified story about him complaining over complimentary hotel chocolates he'd allegedly already eaten. Additionally, Zak reportedly refuses to fly, limiting investigations to driving distance from Las Vegas, which led to spin-offs like Destinations of the Damned, where he narrates from afar. Fans often complain the show loses its edge without his physical presence. So, with controversies piling up like cursed artifacts, the question remains, is Zak Bagans confronting criticism or simply doubling down on the haunted empire he built? New projects or desperate distractions? Despite all the drama, Zak Bagans is charging ahead with new projects. In December 2024, he launched Scarehouse Films with a multi-million-dollar investment, planning 3 independent horror films in 2025. Ghost Adventures continues, with Season 29 premiering in April 2025, including an investigation of the infamous poltergeist house in Simi Valley, California. His show Destinations of the Damned reached number 2 on Max, and Ghost Adventures, House Calls remains ongoing. The Haunted Museum stays open and profitable, even as skeptics question the authenticity of its artifacts. In early 2025, Zak added Saddam Hussein's hat and belongings to the collection. Financially, he appears thriving, with a 3-year deal with Discovery Plus running through 2025, guaranteeing over 100 hours of paranormal content. Yet reputation is another matter. The paranormal community, once loyal, is increasingly skeptical. Critics highlight his ego, alleged mistreatment of colleagues, and history of exploiting people and artifacts for profit. Fans remain divided. Some argue personal flaws shouldn't overshadow professional achievements and praise the cultural impact of Ghost Adventures. Others question how viewers can trust a man claiming to sense spirits when his museum artifacts are dubious, his books allegedly plagiarized, and his personal life riddled with scandals. So, what's the final verdict? Paranormal pioneer or calculated entertainer prioritizing fame over integrity? Zak Bagans built an empire investigating the dead, but now he's haunted by the living. Ex-partners, ex-girlfriends, journalists, and disappointed fans. From the Nick Groff fallout to the Holly Madison scandal with 7 women, plagiarism claims, questionable museum artifacts, racism allegations, and alleged mafia-esque power plays, Zak's controversies are mounting. He markets himself as authentic, yet critics accuse him of faking, copying, and chasing ratings over truth. His empire stands, but on shaky ground. Will Zak make amends, ignore critics, or face new revelations? Subscribe and stay tuned, because the ghosts of Zak Bagans' past aren't done yet.